Welcome to All the Things Music, the podcast. Grace, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Okay, so I'm Grace. I live in the UK. I have been sort of in and around mostly Five Sauce fan Twitter for a decade at this point, but uh, I've in recent years got involved more in like photography and very recently like music journalism. But that's how our paths kind of crossed. And I actually met you two in Hollywood last year. Last year?
hmm
Yeah, 2024. Um, Yeah, I was turning 25 on the day that Luke was doing a show in Hollywood, and one of my best friends lives in China, so we sort of end up meeting each other at shows along the way. So when we saw a show on my birthday over the summer, I was like, Bella, guess where we're going? Um, and there was two nights at the Palladium, and there was one night we did GA for the first night, and then we had like VIP or early access or whatever it was for the second. And we came out and decided we were going to queue basically for the second night. And so walked around to our side of the Palladium, and there was already a queue there, and we didn't have a clue what was happening. And so I asked you guys, and that's where we met.
Yep. And that's that's how it started. Because
Yeah,
Michaela was already fighting people on the street.
I
rightfully
decided
so though.
I decided to take it upon myself. I said, all right, well now these two are joining us. We're gonna fight for our spots. I said, I'm gonna go ask them. Bella was like, you start, and then if it ends badly, I'll fight her.
The back you to the end, yeah.
So that was how we met.
We actually have to start with song and merch of the day because
This is
Yeah.
correct. We forgot that part.
yes, that's important. Um, I think should I start?
Yeah.
Okay. We're starting with um another Luke Hollywood show. We've got my Luke Fonda crew neck, 10 out of 10 piece of merch. Would absolutely recommend. It's one of my favorite pieces, if not my absolute favorite piece of merch that I own. And my song of the day that I hope Michaela will not be stealing from me is Talk Me Down by Moody Judy.
Talk Me Down, Moody Judy, indie pop anthem.
Yeah,
You listen to this.
Yeah, you got to add it, Grace. You'd actually really like them.
yeah.
Um, Grace, do you want to share your merch of the day and song of the day?
Cool. So, in your honor, after you photograph the Ashton show, I'm wearing my birthday shirt. Not that you can really tell with my hair and the microphone, but there's his face.
Yours looks so much better than mine. Mine has like gotten messed up in the
Me
wash. Like
too.
his face is all cracked.
I think, did you get yours like at the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this one came from the show, but then I've had like the white t-shirt I bought afterwards.
hmm
It's just faded completely. And I feel like I've worn them like the same amount, but then the white one I bought
Interesting.
like afterwards, but then this one that actually came home with me is like still really decent. I don't know.
That's very strange. Yeah, mine's cracked too on the front. Oh
But
yeah,
the back
don't
looks
mind her.
great.
She's just gonna be in the background.
Oh my God, that's
Hello, Michaela's cat again. We
She's
talk about the boy pop stars and she shows up.
she's a huge Five Sauce fan. So okay,
what's her
bye.
name?
Her name's Jasmine.
Jasmine. That's adorable.
And
And
then Grace,
what's
what's your
your
song of the day?
Oh yes, so I think my song of the day I'm gonna say because it's what I've been listening to loads recently. There's a band called Isla Rico, and they have a song called Waiting Room, which is kind of very fitting for I would say the stage of life I'm in. So it's
How do
been
you
hit.
spell that? Because I want to look it up and I don't know how to spell it.
Like ISLA and
Okay.
then RICO.
Okay.
adding it to our indie pop playlist?
Yeah, I don't know it, but I want to look it up.
I think you'd enjoy it. It's very indie, but the lyrics are cool.
Um,
I'm a big lyrics person, so
Mm. It's about
what?
like if you've had my short explanation on it. It's like if you've had like a dream or something you've been wanting to do with your life and you feel like you've been stuck for ages and not really like doing anything for it. It's like getting out of the waiting room is like the vibe.
Oh, I love that. That's perfect.
yeah.
Exactly. I found it a couple weeks ago and was like, damn, the algorithm got me.
Yeah. Do they have other music?
Yeah, they do. Not loads actually, that's on Spotify, but yeah, I've not really dug too much deeper than that song, but they're a cool band.
We love finding bands before they like blow
Blow
up.
up.
And you
Yeah.
get to
Yeah.
watch the whole like progression of everything.
Mm.
Should I do
All
my
right.
merch of the day?
Yep.
Yes.
My merch of the day is five sauce at the forum, pink crew neck, uh, manifesting the five sauce return. That's my merch of the day, and my song of the day is oh yeah, I was listening to Super Bloom, so it's the sweetness. So
Good job.
our topic for today, fan culture, positives and negatives. Um, but I think we should start with the negatives and then work our way to the positives. So
Give the people something to look forward to.
I think they're gonna have more fun with the negatives, to be honest. They're gonna be like, yeah, I agree.
Is this your typing hand?
Yeah,
Nice.
my keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
Um, okay, the first negative that I thought of, or not even negative, but just like a common discourse that I see online is when people say like, oh, it's fans buying tickets to multiple shows is the reason why other fans can't easily get tickets. And I think
It's
that's
not true.
false. Yeah.
Debunked.
I don't know what else to say about it, but I just think that that's false.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, with like certain shows that are small venues and those kinds of things, like yeah, there's a certain number of tickets available and whatever. Like I think that a recent one that like I saw was like Alessi Rose in the US. Like she's playing literally four shows and they're
Oh,
teeny tiny capacity and she has probably more fans in the US than she probably thought that she did. So yeah, like other fans on that one might have something to do with it, but generally we're talking Ticketmaster doing weird stuff and resellers and all of that. That's a factor.
Yeah.
yeah. I think Ticketmaster could be a whole podcast episode in
Oh my
itself.
gosh.
But
I'm
yeah,
scared. I'm scared to
it's
talk
like,
about them.
yeah, we're all gonna get blacklisted at this rate. We'll never get tickets again.
Um,
Grace, is Ticketmaster UK as bad as American Ticketmaster?
Yeah, I think so.
Oof.
Though I swear I read like a couple months ago after the Oasis tickets thing that they were trying to
Yeah.
actually like put tariffs on tickets so people couldn't like price gouge to like a ridiculous extent. But I don't know
Yeah.
where they've got with that. Haven't really checked.
I thought
I
that
because
it
I
did
think
have different rules because I know
yeah.
like for the Taylor Swift, like for Eras tour, the tickets in the UK were not as expensive on resale. So I thought it was like a certain
Oh.
limit, but I don't know if that's actually true or not.
I actually don't know with the Eras tour, but maybe there is.
People were literally
American resellers are
flying.
just crazy.
Yeah, they are. People were literally flying from America to go to shows in the UK, and it was cheaper than buying a ticket
Isn't that
here.
crazy? And then like people will see that and not understand why people go to like other countries for shows. But it's like, why would you not? If you're basically getting a free holiday and
Yeah.
for the same amount you'd spend to go to a show in the US.
I have a question for Grace. What is like your
Um,
craziest camping experience? Because I feel like you camp more than Abby and I.
oh God. Craziest as in like longest I've queued or like just like crazy in
Just in
general?
general, yeah.
Oh God. I don't know if this is funny or like traumatizing, but I remember when we were waiting for Luke the last time and no, for the Vonda shows, I think.
Mm,
And like that particular part of Hollywood is not the nicest. Like we were convinced we weren't going to camp because it was dodgy, but like only kind of went because there was like quite a big group of us.
hmm
So we kind of felt okay. But like people had like camping chairs and like the area we were in, there was quite a lot of like homeless people just about and like coming to see us and like asking us for money and like food and whatever, which like you can't be mad at that. Like we put ourselves in that area. But somebody just came and like sat in one of the camping chairs and like was there for like hours. And
Oh my
like,
God.
cause we were all like youngish, like women basically. We were like none of us were like brave enough to say anything. And
Oh
they
my
just like
God.
sat there for like a few hours and we were all just like, do we do? And like it was fine. Eventually, just like got up and left, and I didn't really say anything. But I was like, how are we here? Like, what's going on?
Oh my
Did they
God.
like talk to you?
And not really. They just kind of just like parked themselves in a chair and had a nap, I think. But I was just like, what's going on?
I would be so scared. Oh my God.
Oh my God, there must be so many.
That's a good one, yeah. I don't really have any like super crazy stories like that.
I guess this kind of actually leads into another topic that I had
Go on.
is thoughts on double queuing.
Hmm.
I
Because
mean,
go
that's
for it,
like
Grace.
that's a hard no from me. I think that really
Ooh,
is like not respectful.
yeah,
Yeah, I would say like I'm not gonna lie, I have double queued. So, but like I don't think that it's fair.
agreed.
However, I'm like if they're gonna do it, like it should be known to everybody that this is what's happening.
Yeah,
I will do it if other people are doing it, but I don't think anybody should start it
that's
Yeah.
fair.
because I feel like
I'm not gonna start it. I'm not gonna even mention
no,
it. But if I hear you talking about it, I'm gonna be like, okay, where's the line?
yeah,
I think that's fair.
if you have
Yeah.
the choice to not do it, do one and then the other.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody else have any others?
I don't know how to word this, but people being like, "Oh, you're like too old to be doing this" type of
Oh
thing.
gosh. Well, Grace said that her 25th birthday party was at Luke Hemmings.
It was.
Kayla had her 25th birthday party at the Eras tour. And I had my 26th birthday party with the release of Oi last year.
Mm.
So we're all in the same boat age-wise.
I've had like on multiple occasions somebody say, like for instance, I was at iHeartRadio Festival maybe like what was it, like 3 years ago now. And they sang some song about like being born in the 90s. And then the artist, like, raise your hand if you were born in the 90s. And I raised my hand. And I was with a group of five soft people because they were performing. And I raised my hand. And the girls behind me were like, oh my God, you don't even look like it. I said, how old am I supposed to look? Like,
What's that supposed to mean? I find it like particularly confusing around bands that are like Five Stars kind of age because
yeah.
Hmm?
they've like collected most of us when we were like 15, 16, and we've like
Exactly.
aged along with them. So I don't understand why people think that when you've like grown up with a band, suddenly you hit like 20 and you're not allowed to like still be listening to their music and going to shows anymore. I don't understand it. I don't understand it in general, but I just find it even more strange when it's like bands like Five Sauce that we're like the same age as, basically.
Yeah. Well, I
Strange.
find this actually really interesting with Gracie Abrams fans because Gracie Abrams fans tend to be much younger.
Hmm.
Like Gracie Abrams is 25 and I mean, I've been going to Gracie Abrams shows for like 2 years now, and it feels like every single show of hers that I've ever been to, I am the oldest person who's there. And I'm literally in the same age bracket as her, and all of her fans are like, not all, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of her fans are like 18 to 20.
That's like confusing as like a 17-year-old hearing stuff
Yeah,
about a 25-year-old's life.
That's what,
yeah,
oh my God, Abby and I were talking about this when we kept seeing like younger people go to Luke's shows, right? We're like, I'm sorry, there's no way that you relate to specifically Boy, where he's talking about being in his
Yeah.
mid 20s and like realizing like, oh shit, like I'm an adult.
yeah. I mean, there's parts of it that you can relate to, but I mean, I think that him actually saying that in interviews actually opens things up to like basically saying, like, these are the people that I'm catering to with this
Yeah.
music, and they're kind of who I'm looking to reach with this music. And I appreciate that.
Which
Yeah.
like makes complete sense because like as well, like Brad Simpson just released an album called like The Panic Years, which is very much like similar vibes. It's about
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
being in your mid 20s and like not having a clue what you're doing with your life or like
Hmm.
what's going on. And it's like I don't understand how you could absorb that as like a young girl and like understand like the meaning behind it. I'm not saying you can't enjoy the music anyway, but
Hmm.
when you're like writing music about a specific period of your life, and you're then trying to say that the people that are also going through the exact same
Mhm.
thing can't go to your shows anymore. It's confusing.
Yeah, I think that I mean, everybody has obviously the right to listen to the music, and everybody is gonna love the music differently. But I definitely think that that whole discourse about like you reach 24, 25, and you're just done being a fan is something that doesn't make any sense. And I think that that's a conversation that generally needs to not continue.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like, well, I have adult money now, so I can go wherever I want and do whatever I
exactly.
want. Like,
Yeah.
who's gonna tell me that I can't do that because it's my money?
Genuinely, the first time I ever traveled for a show was when I went to the Today Show when Five Sauce were on it for Five Sauce Five release. I mean, I went to like I'm based in Chicago and I went to Wisconsin a couple times. Like that's as far as I went, but I never got on a plane for a concert until I was what was I? 23, 24. Like
Yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
either until I went to Era's tour in Vegas, and even that is not far from me because I could have driven. So,
where are these kids coming up with this money?
yeah,
That's
that's
so
what I want to know.
What did I what are you guys doing?
Where are your parents?
Yeah.
literally. I always think that, like, when I see like people that are like 15, 16 in queues and like camping or like spending the even like spending the day on like the streets of London, I'm like, my mum would have murdered me if I tried to do that at
Yeah.
that age.
I'll
There's
tell
no
you how.
way.
I'll tell you how they're doing it. Lying. That's what I did.
Yeah, maybe.
I
Maybe
said,
that's
"Mom,
true.
my friend's mom is coming with us. Like, it's totally gonna be fine." And
Everything's
then
fine. So
I got dropped off on the streets of LA, and I said, "We're good to go."
bad.
That's
Oh, I don't
funny.
know.
You know this is like recorded, right?
Oh, my mom knows it's okay. We've talked about it
Now.
now. Yeah. Well, actually, she knew the day of when she called and said, "Where's your friend's mom?"
At home, probably.
She'll be here eventually.
That's funny.
That is
Lying
funny.
by omission.
You
Yeah.
know, I will say, actually, when I was in the line for Gracie Abrams in Nashville, there were some parents who were in the lines with their kids.
Oh,
So
That's really sweet.
it is
that is
sweet.
awesome. Actually like the only time I've ever, I wouldn't say lied. There was like before the pandemic, I literally had not seen Five Sauce since like 2015, probably,
Hmm.
with the last time I toured with One Direction.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I came back into like fan Twitter and all of that just as they were touring with the Chainsmokers.
Hmm.
And me being like 19-year-old student with, I would say money to spare, but not really, but just about enough that I could survive. I was
Hmm.
like 19 and I flew to the US on my own for the first time
Oh my God.
with like 2 weeks notice, and like I went and like met somebody that I'd met online, and it was like it's so dodgy looking back, but like I went and like we're still friends now, like I love her, but I
That's
didn't tell
crazy.
I didn't tell my mum until like 2 weeks before I left. I just like I texted her like the concert ticket and like because it said like San Francisco on it, and she was just like, "Am I reading that right?" I'm like, "Yes, mum."
Oh my
Sorry.
God.
Wow.
Um,
You went to the Chainsmokers tour
I
in
did, yeah,
America? Oh my gosh.
yeah. I don't know. I think it was because I went over Thanksgiving weekend, I think. So for some reason
Mm.
ended up getting like really cheap flights.
Yeah.
I literally went for like 4 days. Um, so I didn't really miss any uni somehow. And I was just like, this is all just lining up in the right
You're
way.
like, it's meant to be. I'm going.
Yeah. And like the worst thing was I'd seen them like I think San Francisco from my memory was like quite near the end of the tour.
Mm.
So like I'd seen content from the tour and was like really fighting the urge to go, and then it got to like the last couple of weeks and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go on. I and like managed to convince my friend to come as well.
Oh my God. That's so fun though.
Yeah. But then the pandemic happened and I didn't go to shows for ages, but
Aren't you glad you went then?
so glad.
You
I
would have
look
been
back now and like
forever.
basically they announced I think it was No Shame Tour when I was like in America.
Oh, no
And like
way.
Oh wow.
so many people were like, you've just flown to the US and they're coming to the UK in like 6 months. And I was like, yeah, it's fine though. And then
Yeah, but who cares?
that tour didn't happen for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. These things work out.
Yeah.
Do we have any more negatives or should we move
I
on to
I have two.
you have more? Okay. Grace, do you have any specific negatives that you'd like to bring up as well?
Um, I think going back to like the whole competitive, how competitive Twitter and like fan Twitter has been made so much worse when people try and get like pics and stuff at the end of shows. I feel like that's a
Oh,
whole conversation in itself. I think
that is a big one.
that's what sparked the conversation about Asian things because me and a friend had a situation at another show and said person, I'm not actually sure how old she is. I think she's a little bit younger than us, but ran to Twitter to put us on blast for getting something. And then was like, I just found out this girl's like 27, get a job, go to work. And like, first of all, she ain't 27.
Yeah.
Second of all, like, why does that mean she can't be going to shows? And
Wow.
that's what sparked my anger and my Instagram rant that brought us here.
You're like, third of all, I have a job. That's how I'm able to be here.
Exactly.
That's
Ugh,
crazy.
yeah. Amongst like a lot of other nasty things that were said about us, but it was the reference to the age that really like stirred my anger.
Maybe don't blast people that you don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just in general.
Well, and I think too, it also is like because of like TikTok, any sort of social media where if you get like attention at all or you get like a good picture, a good video, like obviously like we all take pictures, we want people to see our pictures. However, it becomes so competitive when it's like I need to be in the front so that I can get really good videos for TikTok or like so I can get a pic and I can
Yeah.
post it. And it's all about like trying to look, I mean, not all about, it is really nice to like have those interactions,
Hmm.
but it becomes very competitive and you just want to like one up other people.
I think it's like the mindset I have is like it's nice when those things happen and like I took a little sign to like I went to go see Inhaler on Valentine's Day and they have a song called Valentine's Day so I like made a cute little sign about that and like got a pic from that sign but it's like those things should be like a nice addition
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
like a show that shouldn't be like the entire reason you're going because I
Mm-mm.
feel like when you go into it with that mindset is why you go absolutely off the handle when like
Yeah.
things don't go your way, you know?
I mean, I've never gotten a drumstick of any kind. I've seen Luke Hemmings solo 7 times. Every
Luke.
time has been from the first 12 rows. And I got one pick at the end of the last show of the US tour because his bassist was very, very kind and
Oh.
threw it to me. And I have scars on my knuckles from grabbing it off the floor of the barricade, like because I trapped it under my foot and I was trying to pick it up before someone else took it from me. Like,
Yeah.
that's, I don't have one from Ashton's show. I don't have any other picks. I've got one pick.
I don't
And
have a guitar pick or a drumstick. I don't have anything. I'm just there for the vibes.
yeah.
I'm saying,
And
and you probably have the most fun of anyone in that crowd because
mhm.
you're not there for that reason.
I'm like, if
Oh, and the
that
set
happens,
list too.
oh, the set lists are crazy that people are like standing there like at the barricade, like, give me the set list.
Yeah.
That's like the funniest thing to me when people like crush at the end of a show and they all come down to the barrier and you're
Yeah.
suddenly like, I can't breathe anymore because you're trying to like reach over my arm for a set list. It's like a meter away.
Yeah.
It's a piece of paper.
I know.
And it's cool, don't get me wrong. It's cool to get anything, but I mean, it's also not the end of the world if you don't. You
Mhm.
still went and had a great time. Or maybe
Yeah.
you didn't because you were too worried about everything else.
Yeah.
If you want a keepsake, go to the merch stand.
Literally.
Get a shirt. Get a
Like shirt,
album.
me.
Get a poster.
Yeah.
Oh God. Did I tell you that at the Ashton show, my friend bought a poster and some she had it like between her legs when the show was on, so it didn't get like battered under her arm or anything. And somebody took it.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Somebody took
God.
it.
somebody took it.
Those were like
It was like
$50
I was gonna
posters.
say it was like the signed ones, but they were like holographic.
Yeah, those are really expensive.
She lost it to the pit.
That is so
Oh
sad.
my
I know.
gosh. That's
And they
Wow.
were like
crazy.
exclusive as well, so she couldn't like order another one.
Yeah.
They
I
were gone by the
know.
time. we'd come out.
That's insane.
Mm.
Ashton Irwin, if you're listening, send Grace's friend a new signed poster from the
Please.
Velasco, please.
That is so
Ali
sad.
If you need her contact information, we can
can
connect
hook you
you.
up.
Email us all the things musicmag@gmail.com.
Oh my God.
Somehow, every episode, I do find a way to plug the email address. And that's the one for this one.
We're gonna get Grace's friend a new Belasco poster, one
Yeah,
way or
that's
We
the
another.
have
last
to.
thing we do. This
Okay.
actually, I have another con that does kind of go with this, and then I'll stop being negative. My last con is if you got an artist interaction, it does not mean that you know the artist.
Yes.
Yes. This feeds into the whole parasocial
Mm-hmm.
debate
Which
Yeah.
situation.
is a huge buzzword on, again, online right now. So generally, again, online fans got a lot to say.
Mm.
I would say like the whole like parasocial or whatever, like the same thing you're saying. Like I feel like people take it too far. Like you get an interaction or maybe they like your picture on Instagram or they like your thing on Twitter. It's like you don't know them.
Mm-mm.
Even if you've met them and you've had a conversation, you still don't know them. Um, and people act like they do, and that's where like the crazy fan parasocial relationship comes from and why people keep saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's also that like small group of people that do genuinely feel like they know their artists.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
give everybody else like a really bad reputation. Because I don't think the majority of people feel that way.
No.
It's like
Mm-mm.
the small minority of people that genuinely take that as like they are their best friends and they can tell them whatever they want. It's like that's not it.
No, and you can support an artist and you can like their music and you can like let their music be part of your life
Mm.
and stand them through their music without like being like, oh yeah, I know them. They're my
And
friend. I can say whatever I want to them. And I expect them to give me attention whenever they see me.
and here's the other thing. They do know certain people, obviously.
Hmm.
They've seen you at shows. They might know your name from online. So if they say like, "Oh, hey, like so and so," like if they see you out, whatever, like you still don't know them. You're not their friend. And
No,
that's
it just
not
means you've been around long enough.
and that's not to be mean. Like obviously you still have a special like relationship with them to a
Right.
certain extent, and it's very cool if your artist knows who you are.
Mhm.
But people take it too far.
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my last con. Should we move into positives? You kind of find these friends and people who like you do stick up for each other and you kind
Yeah,
of defend each other when it comes to spots, numbers, security, merch, whatever. Like these are people that you wouldn't otherwise know. Like, I mean, the three of us, we're in three extremely different geographical locations, and here we are talking about these shared experiences that we've had because of shows and music and bands and everything.
Yeah. You will meet people that you never ever would have met otherwise.
that's very true. I think even like you go to your shows thinking like you know your people because obviously you have shared interests anyway, but even within that you find like your little groups of people that you're like the most similar to.
Mm.
It's so
And it's
nice.
crazy because it's like every time we've gone to a show, we always end up like adding another person that we're like, oh, you're cool. We like you, you know?
We'll
Hmm.
keep you.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, okay, that's our little group is growing slowly.
That's nice though.
That's another positive of film culture is I can say something like trademark Luke Hemmings host mode, and you know what it means.
That's so true. I make comments like inside jokes between like music inside jokes like on a daily basis and nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, when you just have to giggle to yourself because nobody else gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a positive. Is like having people that are also like really nerdy enough to know these things.
Yeah. They're in it enough that they get it.
What's another positive? I mean, I guess we can just continue talking. Like, it's crazy to know that you know somebody from all over the world because of music.
Hmm.
Just about to say that I think the best thing is like, especially when you start like going like further afield for shows, you
Yeah.
meet people from literally everywhere. And I feel like I could quite comfortably go to a five-star show and maybe not everywhere, but most places and like know somebody.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like you're never really on your own at shows after that point, which is so nice.
I know.
That's the real community of it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I know. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, it's been on my bucket list to go to a show like either in Australia or like in England or whatever, go to the UK. And I was like, how crazy is it now that if we go, we can just hang out with Grace?
Yeah. You can come see my part of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying
Anyways,
to think of others.
I think another positive too is like for somebody that likes music so much, going to concerts and having somebody like you may not ever see this person again, but if there's a person that makes your experience more fun at a show, that's always a positive for me. Like,
Hmm.
I have people that I camped with when I was 14, and I probably will never see them again, but we had the absolute best time. And, like, I literally, I mean, don't ban me, but I snuck them into the forum because they got scammed for tickets. And that's something that I'll remember forever.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, I was kind of a insane teenager, but it's like just those little memories that you have that make concerts more special.
Hmm.
Yeah. I kind of like there are obviously people that you become like really close with and keep in like really good contact with, but then there are also people like that that they're just like a really fun little addition in the story. And like you're probably never going
Hmm.
to see them again, but
Yeah.
they'll always be like there in your memory. It's really nice. Like there was a girl at Inhaler that was there on her own and like we spent like the night with her and like we took some cute pictures together and like I'll probably never see her again, but
Hmm.
I like to think she had fun with us because she was on her own and like she
Yeah.
was really happy to spend the show with.
That's something too, is like I feel like for me, whenever I go to a show, I genuinely, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's times where I've been mean to people, but I always try to like enhance everybody else's experience around me.
Hmm.
At least the best I can. Maybe I'm annoying, I don't know, but
I mean, the main that like, I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I feel like we're generally a group of more introverted people. And I feel like at a show, because it is kind of a community of people who have a shared interest, it does kind of open you up to feeling more comfortable just to talk to people that you don't even know in
100%,
general
yeah.
because you already have that shared interest.
yeah.
That is definitely true. I feel like I'm a lot more inclined to just talk to people at shows because you know
Hmm.
that you've got at least one thing in common.
Uh-huh.
I came up with another one just now thinking because we all are in the space of like taking it beyond just like being a
Hmm.
fan. We
Hmm.
all have gotten into being fans that also go photograph shows, review shows, whatever. Um, so I don't know if I would say it's a positive to like have friends that push you to do that because you probably
Hmm.
wouldn't have done that on your own, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Grace's photography makes my photography skills um
No,
and like I
Oh,
I want to
same.
be better because of Grace's photography. So,
Same. Mine is like I just point the camera and like hope for the best.
yeah.
that was literally me the other day. That I don't know. I know it's different when you do like big shows, but like small shows with no barrier, like you have no room to do anything. You're just
Hmm.
stood there
Mm-mm.
like hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Was pretty much me the other day.
Those ones that you took like the I think it was like inhaler from the crowd and they looked like
They were so good.
those were good.
Thanks. It's so frustrating that there are no press. I would literally sell my firstborn to photograph them properly,
Oh, do they
but
not do it?
not at all.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I
I
guess
don't really
not.
know why. I think there were no press last tour as well.
Hmm.
I think they
I'm
like very openly let people like photograph them at festivals,
Hmm.
but I imagine that's probably because they have to.
Yeah.
Not because they choose to. I don't know. It's sad. They have a really cool photographer though. Lewis is great.
Mm.
That's funny thing too, like knowing the photographers of all the bands that you
You know what
that
was
you
really
like.
bad? There was like their support act, Permanent Joy. I didn't know who their photographer was, but he came out and was like obviously like taking pictures and stuff like in front of us at Brighton. I was like, why do I recognize him? And it was like a photographer I follow on Instagram.
Oh, that's
Like,
funny.
oh no, I'm too deep in this.
See, but that's a cool thing. Another positive. Like, if you're in deep enough and you know the photographers, you can almost always find somebody that like makes the show seem cooler.
Yeah.
Turning around during Ashton while I'm buying a water and seeing Ryan Fleming just videoing everything, I'm like, oh, hey, bud, how's it going?
I love
Yeah.
Brian. Brian seems like the coolest guy. I've never met him, but I always just, my experience with him is just, he's always smiling and he's always so happy and he just looks like he's in his element.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm too scared. I mean, not too scared, but like I just don't ever want to bother him. Like we've seen him close up
No,
many times, so I just don't want to go up and like interrupt him.
nah. It was like after the Belasco, like where we parked, he parked in like the same parking lot as us. And I
Really?
literally saw him and was like, do you remember I printed little Polaroids of like us
Yeah.
giving them to people?
You should
And
have
like,
given him one.
that's exactly what Ali said. And I was like, no, I don't want to bother him. He was just like packing up and like leaving. And I was like, I'm not going to go bother him.
Yeah.
What is like the most memorable show that you've been to?
Oh, that's a really hard question. I think maybe London at the O2.
For five
Five,
sauce?
five stars at the O2.
Yeah.
London. That was crazy. I think like the first time I ever saw them headline anywhere was like a tiny O2 Academy. And then
Oh,
like watching them like headline the O2 was like crazy.
that's insane.
That was
That's
crazy.
another positive is watching these bands grow from little itty
Right.
bitty venues to like the big arenas.
Yeah.
I do
I
love that.
know.
And I feel like that's like such a unique thing to be able to like get in with a band early enough and like
Mhm.
see them go through that whole journey.
Yeah.
I don't know what my like most memorable one is, so I don't know why I asked you that question because I'm not going to be
You
able
don't
to.
have an answer.
I don't have an answer. No. Yeah, I don't know. Abby, do you have a most memorable show?
Um, I mean, I think that like I have varying kinds of like most memorable, but I feel like the first one that I have in my mind as like this is like super super cool and like super meaningful to me was probably seeing the 1989 tour in
Mm.
2015. Like Taylor Swift in a stadium, like 1989 was huge. It was the first time that I was like involved in like fan culture kinds of things and like I connected with people at the show. And I mean, I had already been to multiple Taylor Swift shows by that point, but that one was like it felt different. So I would maybe say the 1989 tour.
That would make me think that I think my first most memorable one was going to the Forum to see Five Sauce when I was 14. Combination of like buying tickets and the actual show, we'll just combine them into one experience because
Yeah.
I watched them play in the parking lot after I bought tickets.
That's so priceless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the craziest day of my. No, that wasn't the craziest day of my life. I've had things top that since then. But
It's up there though.
yeah.
Oh my God, I feel like I should change my answer.
What is it?
So my friend really liked Lovely the band, and I was like kind of knew a couple of their songs like when we were in LA for Luke the first time, I think,
Hmm.
Hmm.
years ago. And they were playing a couple, I think it was either the night before Luke or a couple nights before, but like we were both there anyway, and like I just got a tattoo and she was like, what are we gonna do with our night? And she took me to the show, and then like as we're there, after we bought the ticket, she's like, you know Ashton's friends with these guys, right? I'm like, you're fucking telling me this now.
Oh, he was
Like,
there, wasn't he?
yes. And like I turned to my left and like I just saw him and was like, oh no. And like you just know immediately. And like I saw the outline of his like head under the light and was like, Bella, that's
Oh,
him. And like we went to the bar to try and do some tequila shots because I was so nervous. And then like he was at the bar next to us.
did you say hi?
Yes, well, it took me until the very end of the show
Oh, okay.
because I was like, I don't want to annoy him when
He's
he's just
hanging
trying to
out. Yeah.
come watch his friend's band. So we caught him at the end on the way out. But I was just like, oh my God, Bella, you need to give me more warning next time.
See, this is something that I like about our little group here. We are respectful of artists' personal space and the
Yeah.
people who work with them. They are people,
They
and we
are.
know that.
It's the thing because I was like, I just don't want to like, I would never want to be the person to just go and like really annoy them. I was just like, we'll wait until the end. If they're on the way out and we see him, then that's fine. And like, it just so happened that he ended up like in the crowd in front of us, like the very last song. So we like caught him on the way out.
Was he
Yeah,
nice?
he was really lovely. And he was, yeah. Oh dear. That was
Ashton,
fun.
if you're watching, thanks.
Thanks. We took some really blurry pictures together and I've got one on my wallpaper. It's just the funniest thing. I remember like we were chatting to him because between like me, the friend that I was with, Bella, and him, my birthday is the 6th of June, so I'm like 06,
Oh
06.
yeah.
Hmm.
He's 07, 07, and she's the 8th of August.
Oh
Oh,
my
that's
gosh.
funny.
And like I just remember telling him that when I was like a couple tequila shots in.
Oh my
And
God.
there's like a picture of him where he's doing that because we kept calling ourselves the trio. And like
Oh,
it's just so ridiculous.
I was gonna say a positive is when you're a person that goes to a lot of shows or with your friends, it's literally like you're, at least for us, we always try to go, we always we always try to go early or like stay for a bit and actually like have
Mhm.
a vacation and like
Hmm.
see the places that you travel. And it's cool because you go to so many places you probably would have not gone to.
I
Yeah.
definitely would not have gone to Washington, D.C. if it was
Yeah.
not Luke Hemmings there over Memorial Day weekend. And I'm glad that I went when I did.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't think I would have gone back to Washington, D.C. I went on a school field trip and that was the last time. But yeah, I'm like, and now, and Grace came all the way to America
I
and she's been
did.
to so many places now.
You've been
Yeah,
to Australia too, right?
I did. I went to Sydney. That was like I see shows as kind of like the excuse to go, not like the entire reason.
Hmm.
So like I've had family in Australia that I've like never met, and it just so happened that like when Fire Sauce were there last time was like over sort of Christmas-ish
Yeah.
time. So it all kind of lined up really well. And it was when I was like taking a break from studying as well. So me and my dad went out for like 2 months basically, and
Wow.
Five Sauce were like the very start of that. But it was so cool. Sydney Opera House forecourt was like
That is so cool.
that's such a memorable show.
That's a
So have
dream.
you been to shows in any other countries?
Yeah,
Like what
any other
country,
countries?
like what
God.
countries have you been to? Because obviously Europe is like way closer to get to other shows than
Yeah.
America.
I'm trying to think what cities I've been to. I've definitely been to Paris and I've definitely been to Brussels. I've done like
Have you done
Luxembourg.
Amsterdam?
No, but I am going there in a few months. I've actually never been there, which is
Oh, that's
surprising, but
cool.
yeah,
That's
I
like
can't wait
next
to
on
go
my
to that.
European bucket list.
It seems like such a cool city as well.
Hmm.
I'm excited to go there. Um, where else have I been to? Lisbon, that was fun. Lisbon's really nice. Prague,
Nice.
probably other places I'm forgetting.
Oh, and like how cool when you were, not that like I stalk you on Instagram, but I do.
Go
But when
on.
you were here for, must have been Ashton or Luke or something, when that you rented a car and drove to Joshua Tree.
Yeah, that was Leah and Annie.
That's so
They're the two
cool.
coolest humans. I've like it was crazy. I had that on my feel free to say that you don't do this, but I make like a vision board every year, right? And I have it as like my computer wallpaper. And I
Yeah.
had like Joshua Tree on it, and I ended up going with those two, and I'd like not even met them by the start of that year.
Oh
And
my
we ended
God.
up in July.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
oh Joshua Tree is like the coolest place. I love it.
It's absolutely a positive. Like the
oh
whole trip
yeah.
Um,
component of it and like the fact that like you can build these experiences with people that you've never met and end up
Literally.
going on like a I want don't want to say like a dream like experience, but that's kind of what it is to an extent.
Bucket list, for sure.
Yeah. Closing remarks. Being a fan is really cool. It is probably the coolest thing that I've ever been a part of. Um,
Yeah.
like I took a few years off, I would say, when I was like being a crazy fan when I was like
We're not crazy.
We're committed.
passionate.
There you go.
I took okay, but like being like very dedicated and like going to
Hmm.
shows and whatever, I took some time off and like when I came back, I was like, oh, this is like I felt like very like I was like going home to like friends.
Hmm.
Mm.
So that's my closing remark.
Ditto. Agreed. Yeah. Also took some time off when I was upset with Five Sauce, but that was short-lived. Then I was back. But yeah. And like I would say the experiences that I've had, like post COVID and like actually like being more involved with like actually going to shows is definitely more positive than the community that I kind of somewhat had when I was younger and it was a little bit more online based. So
Yeah, because when you had online friends as a kid, like you weren't gonna go travel and meet them most of the time,
yeah.
you know?
And now it's the reverse. I like meet these people at shows and then talk to them online,
Yeah.
except for Michaela, which is cool.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess I technically found Grace online too.
I just didn't know it yet.
Yeah. You're that girl. Do you want to share your social media info so that if people listen to this, when people listen to this, they can find you?
Yeah.
My name is Grace Elizabeth T on pretty much everything. That's how you'll find me. It's like Grace and
Okay,
then Elizabeth have the same end in the E, just for extra confusion. But
amazing. Um, Thank you for joining us on episode 4 of All Things Music, the podcast.
thanks for having me.
Um, Questions, comments, concerns, feel free to tag us on social media. Maybe don't involve Grace. If you have something that you don't if something negative to say, don't involve Grace.
Yeah, I was
She's
gonna
too negative.
say if you're gonna be a hater, you could just not respond to Grace.
Directed it at Michaela and I, not at Grace.
It's okay, I can take it.
Anyways, thank you for watching. We will be back hopefully next week. But like I
And if you
said,
want to be as cool as Grace and you want to be a guest on our podcast, go
Ooh.
onto our website and submit the contact form. It's at the bottom of the main page.
or you can email us. Abby, what's the email?
Or you can email us at allthethingsmusicmag@gmail.com.